Support for this podcast comes from today's military. You have a calling, we have an answer.
You want to have meaning in whatever you do, from improving your community to making the world a better place. You can find that fulfillment in today's military. You have a calling, we have an answer. Learn more at today'smilitary.com.
Empire.
Heel back to Hachimura.
First off, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
It was more just shocking to hear from him and understanding that he gets the most assists from me and the most spoon-fed baskets ever.
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
To sit up there and to say you don't have a culture problem in the nation's capital, everything about the organization points to a culture issue.
One guy took a in another guy's shoe.
I'm a little pissed off about it, but I know how I am. I was kind of expecting it. It's disrespectful.
It was like Eric Killmonger going for total domination. What tongue is mine?
We're not going to be fucking sunk this year. We're the Stanley Cup champions! Yeah!
This podcast is all over social media, so follow us on Twitter at BeltwayBroPod, Instagram at Beltway_sports_bros_podcast. Also the Facebook group, just search Beltway Sports Bros Podcast. And you can also find us at BeltwaySportsBros.com. There's a podcast player right on the front page. If someone you know doesn't want to or know how to download a podcast app or even knows what a podcast is, just tell them to go to the website and hit play. Simple as that. Thank you for joining us today. We are the Beltway Sports Bros. I'm Matt Vazana, and as always, my brother Noel, actually since the first time since March 23rd, right?
Man, it feels like ages, man.
Oh, it's, well, we're back.
Rejuvenated.
Speak for yourself there, brother. God damn.
Spring break, got a little tan.
Yeah, great. Funny enough, we were both in Orlando.
Yeah.
You were staying with Mom. I was staying somewhere else in an undisclosed location. Well, we were closer to Orlando, and I mean, Jesus Christ, bringing a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old into a different location, that'll age you, my friend.
I remember those days. You're packing the car. It feels like you're packing for a year, man.
Yeah.
You need like an alpaca to take this shit down to Orlando with you. But for us, you know, I'm at the point where I got older ones and we just throw the shit in the car and we headed out. It was great. But I'll tell you, Matt, staying at Mom's, the Villages, it was my first experience in the Villages. If nobody's ever been to the Villages, holy cow. We went to one of the concerts and the old people are like dancing around.
Blue Hair Square?
Yeah. It was, they had the tie-dyes on. It was like Grateful Dead.
Those people.
And they had this conductor guy. I guess he's a regular there, and he has his little conductor stick, and I don't know, I thought he was a homeless guy, and he's over there with his little bag, and he is conducting, not involved with the band at all, and is conducting throughout the entire process, this nut job, yelling out parts of the song. I mean,
seriously?
Apparently everybody knows him.
He's like the mayor of the Villages?
Yeah, the mayor of the Villages.
Well, if you don't know what the Villages are, it's a 65 and older community. It's like it's massive.
55 and over,
55?
something like that. I don't know. Yeah,
it's like its own fucking world. I mean, it's the biggest place you could ever imagine for old people.
I mean, I've heard stories, but when you're in it, I mean, and those golf carts. You've never seen so many golf carts, and some of them are like decked out as Rolls Royces. And
yeah, I know.
One guy had a Bentley golf cart. It was awesome. I mean, how much you spend on that thing? Like 10 G's on a fucking golf cart?
He's good. You know?
Good for him. Just none for the kids. None to leave over in the will, I guess.
He doesn't owe anything to anybody, you know?
And then Disney. I hadn't been to Magic Kingdom in a while. Nice. You know, Magic Kingdom's, everybody knows Magic Kingdom. And if you go to Disney, you got to go to Magic Kingdom. But I will tell you, I went to Animal Kingdom the second day. You told me about this ride, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll wait to see it. That freaking Avatar ride, that virtual reality Avatar ride where you ride like one of those dragons or whatever the hell they are.
It's unreal.
Unbelievable. That was worth its admission that ride.
I said that exact thing. I was like,
yeah.
You can't really explain it unless you actually, do it. But it's like all your senses are heightened. You know, you smell everything. You feel like you're in Pandora flying. It's outrageous.
It was. And, you're straddling this thing and it's moving and you're going through Pandora and you're just immersed in it. It was insane. And, the funny part is, not to bore everybody, but if you haven't been on the ride, go on the ride. But, they do that DNA bonding with the dragon to begin with. And it was sitting at 65%. And we're like, what the hell, man? It took us like 2 hours to get on this damn thing. And we're sitting straddled on this thing. And it's loading and loading. And I'm like, you've got this freaking ride better work. I don't give a damn what happens. All of a sudden, screaming from the next room over. I mean, blood-curdling screaming from the room over. This little girl, I guess, I don't know. I didn't see her. It was dark in the room. I guess they had to stop the ride.
Oh, because she was freaking out?
Because she was This was before the ride had even started, Matt. All we were doing was sitting on this stupid bicycle seat, and this girl's screaming her ass off. I mean, through walls.
It's like an airfield.
So, yeah. On the Back to the Future ride, Eric. Oh, that was so great. Oh, man. So I guess they had to stop the ride and get her off. Now, I'm telling you one thing. If that was my kid and I was just sat in a 2-hour line, I would have just pretended like the kid wasn't mine. Like they'll be all right for 10 minutes outside the door. I'll be damned. But it was worth the wait, I'll tell you. Great experience.
Well, I went to Universal because we've been to Disney far too many times. And, with COVID and everything, there was only Epcot and Animal Kingdom available, which everybody wanted to go to Hollywood Studios.
Sure, Star Wars. That was our primary one, right?
But, I think that thing's been sold out for months at this point. But,
since it came out.
Yeah. But Universal Island of Adventures.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was just... Some things were closed up, because of COVID. But, everything that Evan and Andrew love, like Jurassic World was there. And Andrew, my 4-year-old, if you don't know, he actually got on the Spider-Man ride.
Did they have to stop the ride for him?
No, he held it together. I was actually proud of him. It was like, just Dr. Octopus and shit, throwing shit at you and everything. He did fine on that. We went on the King Kong ride, though. This kid
he must have freaked the fuck out, man.
This was pretty cool, though, this ride. Like, so you're in a bus, so you drive into this 3D thing. So you're fully immersed, like you're on Skull Island or whatever. Yeah. And so instead of like just looking at a screen, you're looking around in this bus. So Kong's like, breaking like T-Rex's necks and shit. It's like, and you can hear them like and feel them getting thrown on top of the bus and shit.
The head is getting thrown on top of the bus.
Yeah, he's just like, and breaking their necks. Awesome. But Andrew, he was like, that he threw off the 3D glasses. After that, he was all right. I guess he kind of...
He saw that it was fake. He saw the backstage parts of it. The bottom of it's a robot.
No, they were... This was all 3D.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no. So it was like when he took those off, I guess it got flat or whatever, and it was fine. The best part, though, and totally unexpected, was the Jurassic World part, was that, Blue from Jurassic World of the 4 Velociraptors... This fucking thing, Noel. So you go up and you just walk up like kind of like Mickey. You're going to meet Mickey, except it's a Velociraptor, and he's just like squeak, doing So you're in line, and then you can just see like the hands and the head, but the thing looks so goddamn real, like you're looking at it like from the movie.
So what? You're taking pictures with the Velociraptor?
Yeah, but this girl, the one who was running it, was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Stuff that would never be allowed at Disney, like dead babies. She was saying like...
Oh, man, they do it to humor themselves because it's such a monotonous job. They're there for 8 hours burning their asses off in those stupid suits. Yeah. So they'll just, like the safari people, they'll just start spouting stupid shit off just to humor themselves.
Yeah, we had the empty stroller, and she was like, was a baby in there? Because like it was just Andrew's thing, because, we got him in for free, a little over 3 there, but it was we had to bring the stroller.
Well, he was close enough. You can still do the free entry if they're within a 2-year span.
I was not paying $105.
Hell no.
Anyway.
Hell no. But one sporting event that we did do, we went to a polo match. Now you'd think it was awesome.
Were they old people?
No, it was old. It was in the villages. They have their own polo grounds there.
No, I'm saying, were the polo riders? No.
Were
they like 80 years old?
No, they were teams. It was a real competition.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like old cheerleaders that were in front or anything like that. But we kind of dressed up. I put a nice polo on and stuff, thinking it was kind of like Kentucky Derby, like they have the mint juleps. You know, because it's an old sport. But so I put a polo on and stuff. They had like Bloody Marys. But I'll tell you, man, it was a fun freaking sport to watch. Everybody should try that once. It's good. It was an experience.
Maybe we'll have a special show dedicated.
Yeah. We'll break down polo.
What were the teams? What were their names?
They were, oh gosh, I have no idea. The purple team and the white team.
Obviously not a true fan.
No.
So
we didn't put money down on it or anything.
Were you able to consume any sports or anything over with this break?
Watched the Golden State game, little behind on the Wiz. I can say I didn't watch every single game, but I watched the Golden State game. Hell of an ending. I mean,
I thought for sure that game was over. Yeah, I actually woke Andrew up. I brought my Fire Sticks with me, so I had YouTube TV, so I watched it live.
Yeah.
Jesus, he hit that 4-point play. Unbelievable. And I was like, "Bleh," and then Andrew...
Like when you woke up Natalie during the playoff game?
We both did that, actually.
Yeah, we both did that.
Gil, the buzzer shot. But, yeah, it was quite the game. And then they got the shit kicked out of them the next night. But, you know, hey... What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix trounced them, but that Golden State game was a fun game to watch, and it was really well-rounded. I mean, I think Beal only had like 20 points in it or something, but it was one of the most fun games to watch so far this season. Minus watching lumbering oaf Lopez do hook shots every 2 seconds and feeding the ball down low like he's fucking Shaq.
They had to triple team him in that game. It's obviously
unbelievable. He's second in the league in hook shots, Matt. Second in the league.
What is he hitting, like 85% from hook shots? If he gets it all,
he's a disaster.
It's in the bag.
But yeah, that was a fun game to watch, you know, and seeing Oubre's smug face. You know he still hates the Wiz.
He almost scored 30 points in that game.
I know. It was a fun game to watch. It was good.
Yeah.
But also, you know, there was a pretty big event, a tradition unlike any other.
WrestleMania?
Yeah. No, that one too. I'm sure you'll talk plenty about that one.
I got a few things to say.
But can we get to real sports for a second?
Okay.
Right.
Sure, hitting a white ball and walking down a grassy knoll. Sure.
I played a little of that too in Florida. It was good. Actually, my swing is there. It's not Matsuyama's swing.
Nobody's is. But I'm amazed they let him in at Augusta.
Get out of here. Well, right now with the pandemic and everything, everybody's struggling, you know, so you got to let more people in. Even Augusta with the billionaires that they have. But really good tournament. Matsuyama he stayed in the running. Justin Rose was in the lead for a bit. But after Saturday, after that rain delay, I mean, he just killed it. So that was the majority of the sport that I watched. And it was him and Zalatoris, who's the young kid. Funny enough, he came in second. He's not even a full-time PGA guy yet. He's a rookie. He doesn't even have his full card. So yeah, he'll be on next year. But it was a fun tournament to watch, man. It was much better than the 5 months ago when that course can be eaten alive if it's soft. And when they did it 5 months ago, when Dustin Johnson won, the thing was soft as hell. You could hit it from anywhere and it was just dropping on the green. So this was more like the Masters, you know, hard greens, have to place it. So it was good to watch. And our boy was there. You know who was there?
Fitzy?
Fitzmasters.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he was there. And this guy, Ryan will be Ryan. He shows up there with a Yeti cap on.
A Yeti?
A Yeti, like the Yeti cup, I guess.
Yeah, the coolers and shit.
Those coolers and coffee cups and shit. Yeah, he had a Yeti cap on. He had a freaking Hawaiian shirt on, pink and blue. And I think Mahomes was there too, but he was the talk of the tournament.
As he should be.
Yeah, I mean, he was just having fun out there.
He always does, you know? You just don't know what you're going to get with him.
I'll tell you, you know, I've always liked the guy. Like we talked about before, I don't really appreciate the move all that much because I think there's other avenues and other quarterbacks that they could have pushed for.
Well, they did.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it is going to be fun to have. If they're winning, it's going to be fun. If he's on the team, he can't really do all his antics. You know, it's like when Westbrook dresses up like a fucking idiot and the team sucks, or Cam Newton. It just looks stupid.
Yeah.
So if Fitzpatrick is doing his antics and they're shitty, I'm going to be like, look, just go inside, man.
In fairness, Noel, he's always been on shitty teams and always dressed like an idiot. Well, at least like the last 10 years.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the joking around and, doing stuff and being like funny during press conferences and stuff like that. And I doubt he will, but it would be very, very awkward if he still does his little antics and this team's playing like shit or he throws 5 picks.
Well, that remains to be seen. But speaking of things your partner could care less about, like the Masters, because that was me for that one. Let's talk about WrestleMania.
Oh, do they give a green jacket away at WrestleMania?
No, just championships, Noel. Just the gold. So WrestleMania was on Peacock for the first time. Brutal. Just so you know, Peacock is the NBC Universal new streaming service. They paid a shit ton of money to have the WWE Network on it.
Unless I can pirate off of you, I won't be watching it.
Well, you can. I'll be more than happy.
Thanks.
So the reason I bring up the Peacock thing is because I was driving home pretty much the same time you were. Okay, so I set it up. I was like, all right, if I leave at 10:30, I'll be able to make it before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
Well, that obviously didn't happen. Lots of traffic, bad weather, etc. I got home at about 11:30 when the GPS originally said 8-ish. The thing that sucks about Peacock, though, specifically, is that you can't pause it or rewind it or anything.
What?
Yes. I wanted to fucking murder somebody. Well, I didn't get home at 11:30. I got home at about 10:45. I had to wait for the thing to be over in order to watch it again.
Oh, the replay.
Yeah.
Was it that pressing? Really?
Yeah, it was night one.
So let me get this straight. So you drove 11 hours.
Roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
On top of that, you get home when it's still going on. Mm-hmm. And then you had to sit there for another hour and a half. Would you start watching this thing at 1 o'clock in the morning? Sort of.
I had the Wizards game. I had the Wizards game at least recorded, so I watched that. And then, it was actually a close game. Then they got the shit kicked out of them in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just kind of did a little fast forward.
Fast forward.
Yeah. Right. I could actually fast forward on that.
Yeah.
The WWE Network, it's scheduled around you whenever you wanted to. I would have never even sweated it. But this stupid fucking Peacock has ruined my life. And so I was genuinely pissed. I was like, I don't ask for much. Dealing with these kids all week. All I want to do is sit in my room and watch WrestleMania. That's it.
And watch another kid's show.
It's not a kid's show, but regardless of that. So, yeah, that was...
so what happened in it? Was it worth the 2 a.m. watch time?
Well, so it was split into 2 nights for the first time ever. First time with fans there, it was just cool to watch. Anyway, the show itself... it was...
So all this build-up for an
It was underwhelming.
Really? I mean, hey, everyone, I know you're surprised, but I have not seen a minute of it. So go ahead, Matt. Give them the business.
In case you're wondering, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest beat The Miz and John Morrison. Bad Bunny, apparently, first time I've ever heard of him.
Is that a guy or a girl?
He's a guy, and he's a huge recording artist, Puerto Rican recording artist. He won a Grammy, actually.
Oh.
Never even heard of this man.
Not a Latin Grammy, but a real Grammy?
A real Grammy for Latin music. That was cool. Interesting. I was wrong about everything. I've never been wrong about every single thing that I've seen in WrestleMania. I don't know what the hell was going on, but they wanted to be different or something this year, so it didn't make anybody happy. WrestleMania is the end of the year, of the calendar year for WWE, right? You send people home happy. The guys that have been working for whatever, the girls... they
build up of matches that you've wanted to see all year.
Yeah, right.
And the result might be shocking, but you're still satisfied with the results. Yeah.
No, the results are never shocking. They're it's just what it's supposed to be. You expect it, but that's what's cool about it is because, that person busted their ass to get to that point. I'm not talking actually wrestling. I'm talking, the backstage stuff and working their way up. Anyway. Honestly, the best match was Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan, triple threat match. But Roman Reigns inexplicably won the match. Edge, 10 fucking years off, wins the Royal Rumble, comes in at number 1, and just loses. That shit doesn't happen. And then
who was the one that was pinned?
They were both pinned at the same time. Roman Reigns destroyed everybody, and he stacked them up.
He sandwiched them? Oh, my God.
And it's a
earthquake that sits on 2 people? Oh, my God. That's horrific. I guess because they didn't want Edge or...
Daniel Bryan
to lose face. by getting pinned.
The funny thing was, it was just supposed to be Edge versus Roman Reigns. And then they were like, they inserted Daniel Bryan in because they didn't want Roman Reigns to get pinned. Because in a triple threat match, it was like, all right, well, we'll let the little guy get pinned so he doesn't lose his whatever, Roman Reigns. But he just said fuck it and just destroy. I mean, it was a hell of a match, but then why insert Daniel Bryan in it? It should have been a one-on-one match.
Well, Matt, that's what makes sports unpredictable. Any given Sunday, Matt. Reigns, he had been working for this moment. He was the little guy in the match, and he said no more. Those guys came in fat and lazy. So he came in and took advantage. Good for him. Speaking of wrestling, people bet on anything. But do they have bets on matches, like live betting?
Absolutely,
this is going to happen during this match.
Yeah, but you can't bet a ton of money on it because it's just like anything. You can bet on anything.
Yeah.
What's going to happen at a halftime show, Super Bowl, whatever. Yeah, you can't because they know they can change it at any time and somebody can get rich.
Right.
Like Vince is like, I'll make a change, and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, what is he, the Pete Rose of the WWE? Well, I'm glad you got it in.
It was quite a sight, though. It was cool to see, but I think they had, according to them, like 56,000 people over to the 2 nights. So they didn't quite do the 45 each night. They said
plenty
about
of social
25,000
distancing and all that. Everybody needed to wear a mask.
Oh yes, and
all that stuff. Oh yeah.
What was funny though, it was at Raymond James Stadium, and I remember watching the Super Bowl, and I was like, Remember they had all those cardboard cutouts to try to fill it in?
Yeah.
And it looked like it was a full stadium. I swear to God, Vince probably called up like one of the guys over there was like, you mind holding on to some of those cardboard cutouts?
Just leave those there. We'll take care of it after WrestleMania. Don't worry about it.
And that's what they did. They were there.
Yeah.
So smart. There you go.
Well, good spring breaks, good moments. So, yeah. Well, why don't we stop boring people and move on with some sports? How about that?
Yeah.
Actual sports.
I guess I'll tell everybody it was my birthday as well over the spring break. Oh,
shit. Yeah, well, come on. It was last week. Who cares at this point? It's done.
No, and that's what's funny. Nobody ever cares about it because Mom's birthday is 2 days later. Typical normal thing.
It's almost having a sibling that has almost the same birthday, except it's your mom.
Aunt Sherry buys a cake, which was very nice of her. Thank you, Aunt Sherry, if you're listening. But, it's a dual cake. Matthew and Rona.
Matthew. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Really? That's awesome. I love it. Good job, Aunt Sherry. That's great.
Hey, 2-for-1 special.
Share birthdays with Mom. That's so good.
This episode is brought to you by Mortal Kombat. Are you ready to fight? On April 23rd, don't miss the action event of the year when Mortal Kombat, the worldwide phenomenon, comes to life. Mortal Kombat is in theaters and on HBO Max April 23rd. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent present.
Hotels.com takes the drama out of booking a trip. With free cancellation on most hotels, the only booking drama is bed drama. Like choosing between a room with 2 queen beds or a king bed for your trip with your new significant other. You've only been dating for 3 weeks, but you were dating in your head for months before that, so it's serious. Is that clingy? Oh, man. Maybe we aren't ready for a trip together. No? We are. Let's book this trip so you can propose. Booking a trip can feel dramatic, but with free cancellation, you can't go wrong with Hotels.com. Terms apply. See site for details.
All right, so let's talk about some sports. So starting off with the Washington football team, NFL draft is coming up fast, April 29th. Packed month here. Like Mom's birthday is in April, for instance, and the NFL draft. Of course, the trade rumors are swirling. So former NFL GM Michael Lombardi said on his podcast, quote, I think Washington is going to be the next team to unload all their picks and try to get a QB. I think they love Lance. I know Washington loves Lance. So will they trade up to get Lance? That remains to be seen, end quote. Not that he said it's 100% going to happen, but it's going to take a shit ton of money or a shit ton of picks. You'd have to go up like to the 4th where Atlanta is, and they're probably not going to draft anybody because they still have Matt Ryan. But I don't know, to get this guy, to get Trey Lance, he's had 1 year at North Dakota State.
He's played 14 games. I've looked at some of the highlights and stuff of the guy through the draft process and all that, and actually watched a North Dakota game.
Did you?
Yeah, during their playoffs where they actually lost in their tournament. No, he's a beast. He's fast. He can do everything. But geez, man, I mean, you're going to have to give up pretty much everything. I mean, they're talking about, for example...
It's going to be like the RG3 deal, pretty much. It would have to be.
They're talking about, like, through the analytics of it, they're talking about Atlanta would get the 19th pick, the 51st pick, the 162nd pick, the first round pick in 2022, the second round pick in 2022, and the fourth round pick in 2022. That's basically the analytics. And obviously Washington would get the fourth pick and the 187th pick. So that's basically where
the Jimmy Johnson draft chart thing.
Yeah, the Jimmy Johnson, exactly. So that's basically kind of where they have it. Obviously there's a give and take there, but that's a lot, man. That is a lot.
I mean, to move up to the fourth spot, it's going to be.
No, of course. I mean, what do you think? You think it's worth it?
No, I don't. I think you stand pat. I mean, I think, unfortunately, next year's draft isn't apparently great with quarterbacks, but they say that every year, and then magically some guys pop up. You know, I mean, this is a pretty stacked draft for quarterbacks, but look, North Dakota State is like basically Alabama of Division II football. You know what I mean? And I mean, they're dominant every single year. And for whatever reason, North Dakota State, I don't know what's good about that, but you can say the same thing about like the concerns of Justin Fields and Mac Jones in the same situation. He's a good quarterback within the confines of his team, but the guys that he's playing with are typically better than the other Division II players. It's a Division II. I don't even know what the hell it's called anymore. You know what I mean? But 1A, or whatever the hell it is. FBS, FBC, whatever the hell. Whatever.
I know about as much about that as I do where the hell North Dakota State actually is.
But the point is that they're a dominant team. And my concern is the guy's played 1 year. Yeah, he was freaking awesome during that 1 year, but you can say the same thing about Dwayne Haskins. You know, played for Ohio State for 1 year, 50 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, whatever the hell it was. And he had the best players around him. And so to move up to that spot and give up that much for a relative unknown, yeah, he may be the next Mahomes or something, but I just think that's too much of a risk, personally. And they do not have a good enough team. It's not like when Kansas City had their team stacked. I mean, they were absolutely stacked, and then they moved up to get Mahomes. That was the missing piece. They still have pieces that they need to fill.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So I personally think that they're not quite there yet to make that move to mortgage their future for one guy that could or could not work out.
Well, yeah, I mean, and everybody's talking about that he is still a project.
Right.
And a lot of his pros and cons are eerily similar to what Dwayne Haskins had. Rifle arm, bad footwork, bad mechanics, quick trigger, long ball is amazing, not good with touch. Now, the big difference between him and Haskins is this guy runs like potentially like a 4.4.
Yeah, he almost ran for like 1,000 yards last year, right, or something?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the enormous difference in it. But a lot of the quarterbacking and mechanics of it, he has serious accuracy problems. So are you going into the same mold as far as quarterback play, not running and saving yourself on a run? Are you running into the same problems that you had with Haskins? Now, and for me, I'm in complete agreement with you, Matt, that I think the risk is too high and the price is way too high. I think when you're at the 19th pick, you can go left tackle, you can go your linebacker routes. There's going to be guys there because by the time you get down to 19, those quarterbacks are going to be gone, and they're talking about potentially 7 going. So that's basically half of the draft are going to be quarterbacks up to your point.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some players out there.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that if you want to maybe move up a couple picks so you don't have to wait and maybe go to 17 to get the guy you really want or something like that, that's fine. To give up like, you know, your compensatory pick in the 3rd or whatever the hell you want to do, that's fine. But to jump up that much and give away like the next 2 years, hell no.
No.
Absolutely not. We've been there, done that. And an amazing stat that I've seen as well, Matt, first round quarterbacks, only 50% become regular starters / franchise quarterbacks for their teams. 50%.
Well, it's because teams, they do whatever they can to get those quarterbacks, right? Guys that should probably be drafted, you know, if you're going to a normal draft chart based off of talent and ability and everything, they should probably be 2nd, 3rd rounders, you know, type of thing. But because of the position and the importance of it, teams will give up whatever they have to do because they think, and it's true to an extent, I mean, you have to have a good quarterback to win consistently in the league. But
sure,
all these teams are constantly fighting to find that guy, and most of these quarterbacks don't belong in the position that they're drafted, and that's why you're going to have the amount that are cut. Have you seen the percentages after the first round? Oof. Brutal.
Oh, I
mean, it drops like a damn stone.
Yeah, it's like a stone. No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, and also it's not as if Washington's the only team thinking about this. You got teams like Denver, New England, that some of them have more capital than Washington
Detroit could even draft one.
Detroit could even potentially do it. I mean, if they're not completely sold on Goff, the way the trend is in this copycat league that it's going now, after Rosen, people are like, hell with it. We'll draft 3 quarterbacks. We don't give it until we hit.
Yeah.
If it's 50%, you draft 3. You're up to 75% right there that potentially you might have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah. What about we were off when this happened, when San Francisco moved up to the 3rd pick, and it sounds like they're going to pick Mac Jones?
Right.
I don't know. That's another one. Alabama, who the fuck knows? Like, talk about mortgage. I forget what they gave up, but it was a pretty penny. And is that team ready to win the Super Bowl? I don't know.
The thing is, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place as San Francisco. They kind of remind me of like Washington, a lot better team than Washington was with when you had all those injuries. Okay, we have a really good team and we just got decimated with injuries, so we think we can be really good if we can just stay on the damn field. So I think that's where their idea is. I think that they've got up to the 3rd spot, and now the Garoppolo question comes into effect. What's going to happen with that situation? Because obviously the writing's on the wall. Maybe they keep him for 1 more year. They're obviously going to go for their guy. They're going to go for Mac Jones. And then Garoppolo might stay for 1 more year while Jones sits on the bench. I don't know, but they're definitely in a win now.
Quarterbacks drafted that high do not sit on the bench anymore. This isn't, 1988. Garoppolo's out once he gets drafted, and they're trying to be like, oh, well, we're keeping him and this and that.
Sure,
they're saying all that so that they actually have somebody that will trade for him.
Right.
He's done. But I mean, if you think about it, how many quarterbacks drafted in the first round don't start? It's like Mahomes and no one else, really. I mean, even the shittiest first-round quarterbacks eventually start their first year.
Right.
So,
really, I mean, the only other one, was Justin Herbert, and the only reason why he came in was because, I don't know, Tyrod Taylor got his lung punctured or whatever freak accident happened there. So he might have been on the bench for a few games, but it
was going to happen anyway. That's my point.
Absolutely.
Eventually, these guys start. And so you're not going to pay Garoppolo $30 million this year to play 3 games.
Well, what would Rivera's intentions be? What would Rivera's intentions be if they took Lance? He would start Fitzpatrick
It would be what Fitzpatrick always does.
Oh, poor good old Fitzpatrick. And that's exactly what he's brought in to do. He is that guy. He's the stopgap guy. He's the Tyrod Taylor.
A much better version, but yes. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is they're brought in for some form of stability initially to see where this guy develops over the season. If the season goes well with them, all right, we'll keep Fitzpatrick in for a few more weeks. If it doesn't, if it starts to go south...
The Dolphins disagree with your notion.
The Dolphins definitely disagreed with that, but yeah, I don't know what Rivera would do there. I don't know. He's Riverboat, and he does what he does.
Well, personally, I think at the end of the day, they're going to stay at 19. All this bullshit's noise. Yeah. And Fitzpatrick's going to be there. They're going to give it another shot next year. Shit, Fitzpatrick could be there another year. If they don't like any of the quarterbacks coming out of college, then
why not
keep him another year? He's playing, statistically speaking, the best football of his career at 38, and these guys play till they're 50 anyway, so what the hell does it matter? So, you agree? You think that they're not moving?
No, we're actually, I mean, I don't know, the spring break maybe brought us a little agreeable vibe here.
Good.
Our audience is going to get bored real quick with this shit.
A little vitamin D, Anyway. All right, staying with the football team. Speaking of old Riverboat, like you mentioned, he was on the Rich Eisen Show Monday, I believe, and the topic of analytics came up. Don't talk to Riverboat about that, it's not his thing. But apparently he's not much of a fan, saying, quote, I've had situations where I've gone for it and the analytics, and it didn't happen out. And I was told, hey, it's okay. You did what the analytics said. And to me, I struggle with that because if I did what the analytics said, and it said 9 times out of 10 you're going to complete it, and it said 9 times out of 10 you're going to complete it, there's that 1 time out of 10 you don't. So how do you know you're going to be that 1 time out of 10 where you don't, where it isn't successful? There is no guarantee. You can tell me all you want. Hey, it's 99%. That's good. But what if you're at that 1%? What about that one time it doesn't work? Nobody talks about that until it happens. End quote.
Yeah, nobody talks about that because 99% of the time it works. I just don't understand this guy.
It may be one of the dumbest things I've ever read.
I
really like Rivera and all. I really do. But holy shit, come on, man. What if the 1% is the right choice out of 99? I mean, I know he's going hypotheticals and everything here, but what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, sit at a poker table with me, my friend. All day long.
He's Riverboat.
Please.
You will.
Please. Fly by the seat of your pants at a poker table with me. Bring that shit to me, man.
What the fuck's this guy talking about? I mean, it makes me think back to that horrendous 2-point conversion call against the Giants. Again, he was trying to lose that game. I don't give a shit what anybody says, but but with less than a 50% of a probability that you will make that 2-point conversion compared to what a field goal would be to tie that game when you have all the momentum in that game. And something that I also saw when I was looking at this, that Rivera's record in the last 3 years in one-score games is he's 8-18.
I know. Yeah, that Warren Sharp guy. Do you see that tweet that he sent? Because he's like the analytics guru.
Right.
And he says, in response to what Rivera said, he says, I will never understand this logic. If data shows something is likely to happen 99 times out of 100, it's not guaranteed to happen the time you try. It's 99% is good. But what about that one time? Okay. But what about that 99 times?
Well, and I think he was really 9 out of 10.
No.
He probably would go 99-1. Who the hell knows this guy? It's just he goes by feel and gut or whatever.
And I could completely understand if he had gotten it right on the Giants play.
Right.
He says, look, everyone, see?
I went against the analytics.
I go with my heart, and it worked. But you would have thought that after the fuck-up with that game, it might have said, okay, nerd, show me what you got. Let's open the books up a little bit. But it's like you show a flat earther that the world is round, and they're still like, well, I'm walking and it's flat.
Can somebody show him that he's 8-18 in one-score games the last 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, how about that? You know, fuck the 2-point conversion. I mean, maybe that'll drive the point home. I don't know. And that's not just because of analytics. That's because of just stupidity throughout games. And that just kind of snowballs.
Bad timeout management. And that, again, though, Matt, that goes to analytics. When is a good time to do A, B, or C? It gives you options because he's a good coach. I'm not denying that. But he's an old school thinker. It's okay to incorporate some new things. It reminds me of, like, my job. Okay? You would have thought that the pandemic would have made them realize that, okay, not everything needs to be brick and mortar jobs at this point, dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
We can do jobs from home. I can do my job from Siberia as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection.
And usually your Wi-Fi connection goes out at work.
Sucks at work. That's the ironic thing. I probably have a better Wi-Fi connection in fucking Mongolia than I do.
Did you miss 2 hours of work today because the internet went out?
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm dreading work coming back from spring break. I hadn't been there in a week and a half. Everybody knows that that first day back from work at vacation. That long drive, you're like, my God, I probably have 8,000 emails.
It's like driving to the gates of hell. You know?
It is. It is. It's such a demoralizing drive. And I get there and I'm like, all right, got my cup of coffee. Let's beat the shit out of these emails.
Let's roll.
Nope. Wi-Fi, network down. For 2 hours, I'm sitting there. And I'm just staring at this computer thinking, what is on the other side of this? What is going to come out at me that's going to destroy my day? But going back to the old man thinking, nobody's saying it has to be an absolute, but just add it to the repertoire.
You know, it's funny. So I went to that thing in Fort Lauderdale, right? So, you know,
another job bonding day or whatever. Yeah.
This one was actually pretty fun, but we had a special guest at our little gala thing or whatever, like our awards ceremony. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank was there, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Paul Orndorff.
Well, that would have been awesome, but...
you like that? I knew that, though, right?
I'm impressed.
I think he's dead, isn't he?
No, he's still alive. I think it would be a great speech if he would be talking, but Mr. Wonderful was great. You know, it's the bald guy from...
The bald asshole from Shark Tank, yeah.
So he's talking, and he's just basically like, you mentioned the brick and mortar thing about going to work, and he's talking about, oh, well... we all have to pivot now, pretty much. You know, I'm an investor in like 58 companies or something, and people are used to working from home now. They've been doing it for a year. This is their lifestyle now. And they're going to go to a place that they can continue that lifestyle if you don't pivot and do this. And I see the owners like...
They are looking at him like death.
We hired this guy and he's telling all the people that you need to tell everybody to work remote. It was awesome.
Right.
And I just looked at it, I was like, interesting.
That's interesting.
But sure enough, back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
First day back in months. I'll be there.
They were hoping this guy would have just doubled down on indentured servitude or something like that. Yeah.
He's got to be like he is on TV, right? No, it was quite the opposite. So
no,
I don't know how we went on that.
Well, no, the point is you have to evolve.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have other options. And in a game, I mean, yes, he's been a coach for a long time and everything, but these plays happen so fast, these moments in time where you have to have an instant decision. Mm-hmm. And that's how analytics also help it. It's not just, strictly the numbers. It gives you a right away option. It gives you something on paper that says, shit, you don't have to think about it. And that's the problem.
Sean McVay, for instance, has a guy who tells him about the analytics right next to him. And quick decisions. Like, that's forward thinking. I would personally say that, I don't know the analytics on this, so to speak, but I would say Rivera's probably loses 2 games a year minimum based off his stupid decisions throughout his career.
Absolutely. Time management, what type of plays should be run in certain scenarios. Yeah. There's such a multitude of different analytics. If he's not using analytics on a simple fucking 2-point conversion play, which is pretty damn black and white, imagine the small little nuances during a game
and it all
where
adds
analytics
up.
could help him that he has just shit on a regular basis.
And it all adds up. And when you watch it's like, that's gonna bite us in the ass later on.
That's gonna bite you in the ass. Absolutely.
And it does, typically.
And it does. So. And the thing is, he probably doesn't even notice it in a game, and he's sitting there with Del Rio, another flat earther, and all these other guys around him that don't believe in that, these old school thinkers, that you can't wedge your way in with this type of information. You just can't. There's nobody in the room that'll say, hey man, we need to take a look at this. And another analytic thing that I'm thinking about, and we have said analytic a lot, is as far as the draft. We talked about the way it's set up with trading and everything else. How does that incorporate itself? He's got a dinosaur in Herney. That guy probably can't even use a standard calculator. He's so damn old.
Well, I did find out I did find out though that Marty Herney actually doesn't want to be a GM, and that's why he took the job. All he does is evaluate talent now. So Martin Mayhew is actually even though we thought it was just like title shit, he genuinely is the GM. Marty Herney wants nothing to do with being a GM ever again.
I'd rather have him as the general manager out of the two. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Not just in general, but out of the two. So I don't know. I don't know why Rivera seems to continue to double down on this analytics is for geeks shit. Like, we get it. You're a hard-nosed monsters of the Midway, and we got it. You just put your hand in the dirt and you take the man on in front of you, and then that's it. And you see what happens. No, I mean, there's other ways of doing things now. It's a different league. It's not 1985 Bears, man.
Maybe the old dinosaur has a few tricks up his sleeve going forward.
Maybe he can throw down that, hit something on the river. You go against those guys that just don't know how to play fucking cards at all, and you're like, why is this guy even in this hand? It's over.
And then they always
And then they hit that final card, and you're like, it was like that 1%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Keep playing that way, buddy. You're going to lose your shirt.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We're on all major podcast platforms. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you like this show, please share it on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, the Facebook group, and our website, BeltwaySportsBros.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you Friday.